So, usually when you want to send alert notifications for the alerts that you get logged in your Azure Monitor console, you would take it from the action groups and use webhook actions or email, SMS, text actions in there um, to get notifications sent either directly from Azure or by forwarding it to a third-party system using a webhook action. So let's actually explore how that is working. So here you can see some alert rules. I have an alert rule that triggers me new alarms when a new resource group is created in my Azure subscription. So it's good for testing. And then normally when you want to notify someone about this circumstance, so that there is a new resource group available in this example, you would either select an existing action group or create a new one. And then you would actually use a webhook, enter URL to send this alert to. It would be a remote system, a third-party system that can send notifications, or you would send like a basic simple notification directly from Azure here to the address that you enter and check here. Now, the disadvantage of this approach is you have some management overhead, and typically it's not kind of a two-way mechanism where when someone has seen the alert notification on his or her device, you would want the alert in Azure to be updated and the status to be synced and changed, maybe to acknowledged or resolved. And this is what you get with the two-way integration approach of Signal 4. So when you use alert notifications with Signal 4 and connect Signal 4 to Azure Monitor, then you do no longer necessarily have to work with the action groups and the shown webhook or webhook notifications. You would rather only make access to an Azure API available for Signal 4 and for the Signal 4 Azure Monitor Connector app. So we would query all your alerts then automatically, send notifications to people who are on duty at that particular point in time. So pushing notification to the mobile app or sending SMS text. And that's gonna happen then automatically, and you do no longer need to work with the action group. So how can you configure this? When you create a Signal 4 account and you log on to the portal, you can navigate in a menu on the left hand side to apps, and here you would find on the bottom the available apps that you can add to your Signal 4 team. And you can see here there's a Azure Monitor Connector app displayed here. And what you would do is, first of all, you would click the tile and read some useful information on how that app is working and what you would need to do in Azure. So that's all documented here. Basically what this page is saying is that there's a script available that you can download from GitHub, and we will browse it in a few moments. And what the script does, it is creating a new app registration in your Azure environment, in your Azure Active Directory, like this one here that I have already created. So when I click it, you can see some IDs here, and we would use that app registration to manage access for Signal 4 to our Azure Monitor alerts. So it creates that app in your Azure AD, and it also creates a new role in your Azure role management. This is what you can see here under access control for any subscription that you choose and select. And you can see in the subscription I have been using, there is this app registration, this service principal that the PowerShell script deploys, and that we have seen here in the Azure Active Directory config. And it's assigned to a new dedicated user role that the PowerShell script is creating for you. And the advantage of that dedicated or custom user role is that we only grant specific permissions here. Yeah, so not much. Signal 4 is not able to query or read your virtual machines or whatever. It just can query alerts from Azure Monitor, which is exactly what we want to do. Yeah. And this is all automatically populated by this PowerShell script, and you can download from GitHub. And when we browse it quickly, then you get an idea of what it is doing. It's really not complicated. It is using the Azure PowerShell commandlets that you would have to install on your device, or you run that script in a Cloud Shell session. But what it does, it is creating that app registration, also known as a service principal. And then it creates that dedicated user role based on the existing Azure contributor role. But it is removing all default permissions from that contributor role and is only adding the ones that you set and enable here. Like the most important ones is like the access to the alert management alerts, right? And that's it. So it creates that SPN, creates that new user role, and finally adds that app principal to that role in your Azure environment. And finally, it is outputting 4 IDs, like the subscription ID, your Azure tenant ID, then the ID of that app that we've created in Active Directory, so like the client ID, and also like a password, a client secret. This is all displayed and output by the PowerShell script when you execute it at the end in the terminal. And once you have that, only thing you need to do is enter this information, these IDs, when you click on create here in the configuration of the app. So you would paste the subscription ID, the tenant ID, the client ID, and also the client secret here in this config screen from the PowerShell output window, and then you are basically good to go. You can see you can also filter for like the severity of alarms that you want to get on the phone or in Signal 4. So you can tick all the severities that you are interested in. The key idea here is to leave less severity alerts out and don't query them from Azure because you would not want to wake someone up for them. An example. Then you can activate this toggle here if you want to exclude suppressed alerts. So if you work with action rules to suppress alerts that are not of interest for you at given times or whatever, then Signal 4 will also not open up new signals and notify people who are punched in at that particular point in time. So it's likely that you want to add or enable this toggle here. And then there is like an auto recovery grace period where you can enter an amount of minutes that you expect your automation flows or runbooks or logic apps to take in order to fix the problem for you. So when we go away from this resource group creation scenario and take it more seriously, for example, if you have a virtual machine unavailable alert in Azure Monitor, and in your alert rule or in your action group, actually you configure like the execution of a Azure function or automation runbook or like a logic app that is supposed to check that VM, reboot it, or fix something on it, then you would enter the amount of minutes that you expect this functionality here, this logic, to take in order to attempt to fix it. And then only if the alert that we've seen in Azure Monitor is still unhealthy and the monitor condition is still in a fired state, only then we would phone call people, we would text people. But if your logic app and automation runbook succeeds and the monitor condition changes to resolved, then we would not bother people. So this is kind of cool functionality here that you can delay notifications to your folks for a couple of minutes. Use the action groups in Azure Monitor only to, or primarily, let's say, to manage your automation runbooks and remediation automation in your monitoring system. And then only once the alert is still in a fired state, then we would kick off notification. So pretty awesome stuff. Okay, so I won't create that app here because I already did that and have like a instance of that app running here of that connector, and it's talking to my Azure Monitor environment already. So what we want to do now is to check how that is working. So what we do is we create a new resource group, and that should fire us a new alert. So that name is just a sample name we created. And then in a few moments time, we should see a new alert in Azure Monitor. And that alert is supposed to be retrieved by the app that you've seen and configured, and supposed to notify your people on call at that particular moment. So you can see I am on duty here in the Signal 4 mobile app, and I will receive an alert notification, a push message actually here in the app when Azure Monitor has fired a new alert here in response to that new resource group that has been created. And here we are. The alert notification came in. Now we get access to it. We can see the new Azure Monitor alert on the phone already, without the need to look at the Azure app here. And when we refresh here, we can see it as well. So it has been created. And we can now open the alert in the mobile app and can browse all available details. So we can see the monitor condition, things like that. What's displayed here depends a little bit on the source that has fired that alert, but all the information that the source provides is actually retrieved by the connector app and is displayed here. So all the information that's available will show up here, and you have then access to, let's say, host names, machine names, so you have meaningful alerts and can take it from there. So what you can also do then is acknowledge this alert, and when you do this, the status is then synced back to Azure Monitor, and this alert here will then also be acknowledged. So that takes a few moments until that update has been digested. But in a few moments time, we should see the state then is changing to acknowledged. So we synchronize the status of the signal in Signal 4 with the alert status in Azure Monitor. Yeah, so you can see the status is now acknowledged. So that's synced back, and also when you close the signal in signal 4, then we also close the Azure Monitor alert. So we keep status in sync, and yeah, thereby you have kind of great yeah, two-way integration um, where records are kept in sync, and that makes it super easy for you to work cross devices and so on and so forth. Okay, so yeah, thank you for watching this video. We encourage you to try the Signal 4 Azure Monitor Connector app out, and yeah, talk to you soon again. Bye bye.